Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Poquito Podcast. I'm Dominic Angel. With us this week is Sylvia Deanda and Ryan Race. We gave Ricky the week off because we have Celeste from Astrofig here back to talk to us about astrology. We get into things about psychology. We have a little girl moments where I sit back quietly and don't say anything and let women enjoy their time together. It's a really fun episode. We hope you guys like it. A couple things up top. If you want to support us, you can join us on Patreon. We have all kinds of content coming up. We're making, what are we making, guys? We're doing movie reviews. We're doing food stuff, vlogs, all kinds of different content we're developing on our Patreon. And so if you want to be part of that journey, you can watch the content and help give us feedback about like things that we can do more of or change up. It's a lot of fun. Join us on Patreon. You can also join us on Discord if you want to hang out with us. That's where, you know, Celeste is active on. A lot of fun stuff happening there, music recommendations, we talk about notable events happening. A lot of fun on Discord. It's free to join. Links are also in the description. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my mom. She didn't give us anything to do this, but Legacy Teas and Spices is celebrating their 9th year in business. So she has a special deal going on our website, which is always in the description. It's going to be $9 off any order of $20 or more. And you can go ahead and help celebrate my mom and her hard work for being in business this long. Anything else I'm forgetting? If you'd like, what?
She's a coupon code, SAVE9.
Oh, SAVE9 is the coupon code for legacyteasandspices.com. Link also in the description. Follow us on Instagram at unpoquitopod and send us an email at unpoquitopod@gmail.com. I think that's it. It's a fun episode. Thanks for joining us, guys. See you later. Poquito podcast. Poquito podcast. How's your program going?
It's going really well. My presentation is done. I'm ready to go home.
Oh, so you did the presentation?
No, I had like one practice session, and then after that, I like made corrections to it, and now it to me feels done. So I want to do that and go home, but I have 2 more weeks.
Oof.
What was your presentation about?
So it's about my research this summer. I'm researching privilege. We're trying to isolate behaviors and emotions around privilege, and see if people feel the same way that they have in past literature when the context is things that are like important to their identity, like their race or the socioeconomic status. So like all past research is really like context specific like that. And we're trying to like see if those behaviors isolated into a game, we do cornhole, if those behaviors show themselves then too. We don't have a lot of data. I can't say anything conclusive, but trending towards, that's just how people behave when their upper hand is threatened.
How does cornhole incorporate into that study?
So we have 2 lines that people stand at to throw the beanbags from, and they flip a coin to determine if they're at the closer line or the farther away line. So pure luck, like how a lot of privilege often is like, you know, just pure luck. You're born lighter or darker or in a higher income family or lower income family. So yeah, that's how the privilege aspect incorporates into it.
So were people like, if they got lucky and they got a closer line, they were acting like assholes?
It's not that they act like assholes. It's that they still think that it's their skill and their positioning in terms of the board doesn't factor into how many shots they made.
Oh, so like I still worked hard to get here.
Yeah, it's all about merit. Merit is very intertwined with this idea of fairness and privilege. It's really hard to like separate them.
That's interesting. I think that's it. No, I think it's interesting because like growing up, I only ever really considered white privilege as something you can be privileged about other than being wealthy. But I always connected the two, like white and wealthy. You know, you see other people who are like wealthy as well, but I've always been like, but they had to do something extra to be wealthy. You know, like, you know, a lot of Black people have to become sports, you know, athletes or some kind of like artist or something. But like growing up and like going to college and taking sociology and stuff like that, I've considered like all the other privileges that come with things.
Mm-hmm.
like pretty privilege is a really big thing.
Yes, indeed.
And boy, do I have it. No.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
No, do I wish I had? Because bitches are wild, dude. The shit that they get, it's like, oh, you could show up to a bar and just get drinks. You don't have to have money.
I wish.
Right? I'm stealing bitches' drinks out here.
I remember I was on
So dangerous. Don't do that.
I don't give a fuck. I hope it's laced.
You get
I want to get fucked up off of one drink.
Guy's
Hell
like,
yeah.
man, that wasn't for her.
I'm like, yeah, take advantage of me now.
I remember I was on a date with somebody and I was like talking. I was no. Jesus.
My God, I hope not. Good. Don't.
I would leave. I'd be like, I don't feel safe here.
He's a very sensible young man. I don't believe he'd ever do anything like that.
I was telling her about like
I don't know
tipping.
him that well.
I was talking to her about tipping. About like, oh, like you tip. I was like, yeah, you have to tip like $10 on the first drink so that they know like you're going to be tipping them. And then like a certain amount. I was like breaking down like the order and like how you tip somebody. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I literally have never had to deal with that in my life.
God.
Wow. Must be nice.
I saw a tweet one time that it was like men wouldn't be able to handle the lives that hot girls live.
They wouldn't. Mm-mm. Oh my God, you have to deal with so much shit. Mm-hmm. So the reason people don't buy me drinks is because I'm so incredibly mean and insufferable. Guys come up to me a lot and I'm like, go away.
Just off the bat.
I don't want to talk to you. Go away. Let me buy you a drink. No. I have my own money. Thank you. They usually leave.
Well, this is interesting because there's always this debate about like, not to get into a whole gender wars thing, but
it's my favorite thing.
But so like, what to you then is like, how do you go about dating? Because like, there's this whole conversation happening right now where a lot of people, Mala was talking about it months ago about like how all of her and her girlfriends, they're all talking about how like men don't approach them anymore. And then men are like, well, we don't want to bother, like we don't want to harass people or anything. Josh is like that.
He harasses people?
No, he doesn't harass people, but he doesn't want to approach women because he doesn't want to bother them. It's like they have to deal with this so much that he doesn't want to do that.
So short answer, I don't date. I have no interest really. If somebody wants to take me out somewhere, I have to know you. I don't go on dates with people I don't know. I don't do dating apps. I hate strangers. I hate strangers. And I especially don't like people coming up to me in places that I consider vulnerable. So like a bar where I'm already drinking, already, being inebriated, intoxicated or what have you. Or I'm like out with my friends or whatever. Like I don't want people to come up to me and bother me. But there are other situations where if somebody were to come up to me and I would need like directness, like, oh, like let me take you on a date. Still no, but like it's because I feel like I really feel like if I'm going to date somebody, I have to know them and trust them first.
That's wild though. I think it's crazy that, I have a lot of my family is really attractive. I mean, they're bitches, but very attractive. So I like understand how they feel a lot because they relay the message. Like how many barriers you have to put up when you're a certain level of attractive because people are constantly like bombarding you with unwanted advances. So I understand, but then I think they don't like certain parts of having that privilege, but then they also use the fuck out of it whenever they can. And I'm like, for as much as you say you hate it, you also maintain it and use it till and good for you. I mean, use what you can, however you can. God bless you and all. But I'm like, some of us are trying not to die alone. I'm like, I don't care if someone hits me up while I'm taking a shit. I'm down, like, let's go. I'm a wipe, we'll head out, But I hear you.
I also feel like I'm bisexual, so I don't just date men. Like I'm way more receptive to women coming up to me for obvious reasons. Like men are very threatening as a presence. And so I like to not be around them ever. I think I have like one guy friend. Being here is a lot. There's a lot of you. When it was you guys and Ricky, so I was so glad that you were here.
Just for safety.
It seems irrational to you, but I don't know you guys.
No, it's not irrational. You got it.
She saw the glass doors and she's like, oh, thank God. She's like, I hope someone walks by.
Danny made the same comment like on the Patreon when we were recording, because we took a break in between, and she was talking about how she went to the restroom and she was like, I'm in a room with 3 men. This is crazy.
Like it's freaky, especially because like I've so cultivated a lifestyle where I don't have to do that ever.
Right. It's like did you watch Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
No.
I really like the movie, but it's like it's just women the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like from like I think it's like the first 10 minutes when like the 2 female leads are introduced to each other, to like the rest of the movie until like the last 15 minutes. It's just women, and then there's such a funny scene where like a man is sent to like come pick up one of them. Like she has a job. She was hired for a job and she's like there for a certain amount of time and she has to get picked up. So like they show the man like eating breakfast where like he's there to pick her up. And it's just like, it's like a disorienting, like it's almost comedic that just seeing this fucking dopey dude like eating like cereal. Like it's really funny just to be like, to not have that situation and then like finally be in the presence. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to empathize here. Autistic empathy, right?
I'm like, I probably don't feel that just because the spaces I'm in is like mostly men, you know, because, you know, doing comedy and stuff.
Growing up, I was in a lot of like male only spaces. I was a weird little girl. Other little girls did not like me very much. But as I got older, guys started to get really weird. And then I was like, I don't like this. Goodbye.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot more of that because I have a lot of like friends that are women, and then I'll be hanging out, but then they'll start making like friends with women, and then they like start building like really close relationships with them. And then, but it's like, it's a thing that's like, it's understandable because they're always like, you don't ever get this opportunity. It's like a refresh. It's like, I feel it in the sense of like, I used to work in like on movies. And so at the time it was like all white people and I never really hung out with like other Mexicans. And then when you're in like a space with other Mexicans, you're like, oh shit. Like
you feel like a crazy amount of kinship.
Yeah, exactly. So I get it.
It's important. It's important to have female friendships when you're a woman. It makes like a huge difference in your life. I feel like, well, I've told you guys this, nobody liked me. I didn't have friends ever. And then I started having some friends, and some of them were girls. Most of them were guys. I think it's because I don't have that thing where, you know, guys make advances towards me. It was never a problem for me, unfortunately.
Oh, you look like you're threatening me.
So why didn't you go up to her?
But because of it, I think guys have been always very comfortable just being normal around me. They've never felt like the need to go out of their way to make me feel uncomfortable, or they've never felt the need. They've never wanted to,
exactly.
to do anything so I could just kick it.
Love when a guy doesn't find me attractive, so I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, you love that? Privilege. But also, and I think Josh addresses this a lot. I say some wild shit to women. Like I really do say some disrespectful things to women.
Please,
but like in a loving way. Like last time, Alexi, I love Alexi so much. I was hosting the mic at Chatterbox, and Alexi went up on stage. She was wearing like a really cute outfit. Her butt was just like, like the minute she walked up on stage, like
you're like, damn,
no, dude, it's for real. And she got off stage, and I was like, Alexi, I'm sure your set was fantastic, but all I could think the entire time was like, God damn, that bitch's ass.
I want you to know that's super normal. Actually,
I love that. You know,
that's super normal.
Women can say that type of shit to each other.
Yeah.
But I think Josh addresses it a lot when I like just tell women like, oh, you look so cute. And I'm like, damn, your tits are tittying right now. Like, good for you, dude.
Yes,
or
the
like,
girls are sitting.
Yeah, I love that. I'm non-threatening, I guess. So when I say stuff like that, it's just like, girl, you know?
Yes, that is literally what it is.
Yeah.
I'm gay and everybody knows I'm gay. So sometimes if they're like if the girls are like weird about straight people, they feel weird when I compliment them. But if they're not and they're cool with the LGBT community, they're like, oh my God, thank you. That means so much coming from you.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I had sort of a similar experience. I mean, obviously it's not 100% the same, but for similar reasons, I got along with girls growing up. So I mostly had girlfriends. I'd have like one guy best friend and that was it. Most of the kids I talked to were girls until I want to say like high school. And that was a weird transition for me because I didn't realize that I was changing like as a person and I was acting differently. And that's like where that started to shift a little bit. But it created a circumstance like in my early 20s that was like a kind of epiphany moment for me because there'd be circumstances where my like female friends would outwardly admit to like feeling safer or they would make, I can't remember this. No, I don't know how to phrase it. It's like,
admit you're safe.
No, like it wasn't outwardly admit. They'd make comments that would like seem revealing of like, oh, you don't actively feel threatened by me. And there would be a thing in my head where I'd acknowledge it, even though that's not what they were saying out loud. And that was like a weird moment for me because then I started to see like...
He was like, good.
Whoa. He's like, it worked.
Because I would say that I have more guy friends when it comes to like certain special interests, like comedy, gaming. Outside of that, it's still the thing where most of my friends are women. And so it was a weird thing because I'd go back and forth between these circles and just like see the difference of just like everyday existing. Like I would hang out with my friends in public, like we go to the movies, we go to the mall, and they're talking about like their families and they're talking about like what colleges they want to go to, what they're, going to learn at school. And then I would hang out with the comedians and it's all straight guys. And the first 20 minutes was always like talking about butts. Like every single time. And it was just like
and
a funny...
You hang out with Sylvia and that's all she said.
And it was a funny thing. It was like a weird... I think that sort of process of thinking would benefit a lot of like straight guys because I feel like that's the biggest thing they don't understand is just like how constant these concepts are on both sides. I
was thinking about this recently, and I know that you study psychology and you're into this thing.
Yes.
Has there been the generational wars, right, between millennials and Gen Z, Gen Alpha? Gen Alpha's, has there been a thing about a study about the impact of like the shutdown on people's socialization? Because the stories that I've been hearing are like Gen Z and Gen Alpha in general are like less equipped for like healthy social interactions. And some examples are like Madeline Pendleton did a whole video about how like the younger people tend to be like worse customers. Before it was like boomers and older people, and now it's becoming like younger people are actually like mistreating customer service workers. And the other thing is just like the whole like how social media has caused people to like stay inside and to be out less and be able to interact with each other in a more healthy way.
So there are for sure a bunch of studies about that already existing and published, I believe. Because just earlier this year, I went to a conference and one of the presenters was presenting on this topic of how people, I think the specific like research question was how people were coping with loneliness during the shutdown and if it was effective. But so that study happened during lockdown and was already published, and they're presenting it earlier this year. So I think that if there are any research articles about this, they will probably have been published last year or this year if they gathered enough data. But I also I know that is going to be a huge topic of research for the foreseeable future.
Do you have any opinions about it?
I think that there is, something to the idea that being cooped up like that made people's social skills worse. I don't know how like we fix it, just because there's so much wrong with any place that children are present anyways. Like the education system is fucked. Family services are fucked. They're, constantly overfilled. And there's just a lot happening. And I think people's social skills are kind of like bottom rung in terms of what people are worried about. So yeah, I don't know how we fix it. I know that it's present and happening though. And if you have any like children in your life, definitely like try to socialize with them when you're around them and not like just let them be on their iPad or whatever, or their phone. Try to get them to talk to you, because I know that that's very casual and that'll help. And that's not like a direct intervention. Just community.
Yeah, I watched this video essay from FD Signifier. He's on YouTube, and he a couple months ago put out a video that was about incels. It's called Incels Run the World or something. But it's this whole look into like the whole manosphere on social media, like Andrew Tate and Fit and Fresh. And one thing that he talked about that was really interesting is that like the audience that those people are reaching are predominantly like children's and teens, like young teens. So it's like it's social media and entertainment, online entertainment. Because we were talking last time about like streamers and like the chat culture, about how much of that audience is like very young and like how they're exposed to this.
And their minds are so plastic and malleable. You can make them think pretty much anything and they'll find a way to justify it.
You said plastic and malleable, and I thought of a Super Bowl bouncing in like an old cartoon. I think that's interesting because I think that technology and social media is definitely the factor that's affecting us now. But I feel like as society as a whole has evolved, that's always been a constant developing thing. Like when we were kids, there's things that we dealt with that like our parents didn't deal with as kids. Like the first thing for some reason that popped in my head is like trick-or-treating. Like parents were super vigilant about their kids because when they were kids, nobody was vigilant, and then stuff started happening. And I feel like that's part of like the more we become aware of things and become like connected as a global community, the more it's hard not to acknowledge those things and think about those things. And I think that that's part of like what it becomes woven and incorporated in younger generations as they get older, is they're being taught the things that the generation before them had to learn.
I gotta be honest with you guys. I have nothing to say about any of that. I keep thinking about girl stuff.
Now's your chance.
I understand.
After Chatterbox Mike on Thursday, some really cool girls came outside and they were talking to us, and they were very funny and very nice. And we were having a very hardcore woman conversation.
And they all had the fattest asses imaginable.
One of them did.
One of them for sure.
Yeah, it was me. Just like by statistically, by numbers, maths. Anyway,
British accent.
I don't know how, but the conversation turned very sexual, super fun, but like with girlies, and that's cute. And I was also having a conversation again with Alexi separately, but it also kind of encapsulated the conversation we were having with those girls when they came up to us, where she was asking me like as a girl or like as a woman, how do you feel about being in comedy and all? And I feel like people ask questions like that a lot, but I like also the conversation is lessened over time because it's not weird anymore that women do comedy. That whole idea of like women not being funny, I think is all kind of bullshit. I'm like, there are unfunny men. We're just not talking about that either. Like the same way you can't, you know, when people say like, oh, you're not fat, you're beautiful. And people are like, yeah, they're not the same thing. You can be pretty and fat. You can be skinny and ugly, you know? Same thing for, and I'm not saying I'm either one of those, you know, I'm skinny and ugly. I get it. But she was like telling me how I feel about like being a woman in comedy and all that stuff. And I thought it was like, or like, how do I feel about other women in comedy? Basically, like, what's the cattiness or what's like the tea or whatever. And I think basically I took like women's studies classes and all that stuff. And I'm a feminist, but I hate when people take anything and make it something it's not and act like their opinion of it is the correct opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying my opinion is the correct opinion either. I will say what my opinion is though. And that's that I think equal opportunity is all feminism is. It's not lowering the standard. It's not lowering the bar to let anyone cross over it. It's leaving the bar open for whoever can meet it, you know? So when people are saying that women aren't funny or we have to give women this extra support, we have to give women, I'm like, no. I don't believe in women support women. I believe in people support the right people. I'll support the women that I believe in, you know? And even if that support is, you know, if I don't think a woman is that funny and they ask me for my opinion, I'll be like, I really appreciate you being in the space because there should be more of us in this space. Work harder so that people don't clump us into this thing. I want you to be funny, so be funny.
You're making us look bad.
Now you're making us look bad, but I'll do the same thing to a guy too. That's the thing is if we want to really support each other, stop babying us, stop making us feel like we're never going to be able to meet that bar. Cause how are we ever supposed to like be in the public eye if we're never able to overcome the audience, you know? Like you have to be able to keep up. So keep up. Like that's the whole thing. It's like, I do support women. I support them in the sense that if I think you're funny, I'm a ride with you, you know? And if I don't think your material has gotten there at this point, I'm gonna be like, hey, you need to work on your material. Like, I think, you know, there's parts or bits or whatever in your stuff that I think have legs. You just have to come up with punchlines, which is disrespectful. And I won't, if people, I won't just say it if people aren't asking. But if someone's asking for my genuine opinion, how I feel about their comedy, I'm going to be honest because I think lying is a disservice.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't think it helps anybody to lie to somebody about how well they're doing in any space, especially if they believe that they're working hard or they have a talent for it. I think it sets them up to have a complex about it later when they finally figure out, oh, I'm not good at this. I'm not funny.
That's a huge thing. Cause people used to make jokes about me having a very specific aggression towards like first year micers because
you slammed the door one time.
I have OCD. Okay. People don't close the door, even though the door was closed before they went through it. Why
he walked out of the bar and went, "Fuck these first years." Slammed the door behind him.
No, but so it's one of the things that still kind of, but I don't get aggressive about it anymore. But it would irk me is like I think it's important when people form groups and find community, and I think that's what gets people to love doing part of what gets people to love doing stand-up. But I think that it becomes borderline toxic when they're only in the room when their friends are there. And like, older, more seasoned comedians do this too, but I specifically mean like they'll only laugh at their friend's joke. Even if they're in the room, they won't laugh at other people.
They're not laughing. Yeah, it's like a thing of people aren't laughing at their friend's joke. They're laughing because their friend's doing something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people do. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, and I've also met just comics in general who will be like, well, I laugh at anybody regardless. And like, that's not helping anybody because then he doesn't know what he has to work on. Because I've seen guys go, I've been doing it off and on for, I think, 8 years now. And I've seen people go 4 years in and not realize that they haven't gotten any better at it because they completely surrounded themselves with people who lie.
Yes, men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is. I mean, that's like my way of handling it in the past was just to not talk to people that I don't think are funny. But that's also an asshole thing to do.
I think that's really funny though. That's funny in a different way than just telling them they're bad.
Yeah. Well, because then I don't have to. Then I don't have to conflict avoidant, right?
They get the vibe.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be cordial with somebody, but I'm not trying to be somebody's friend.
Because they're not funny.
Yeah. Sorry.
I feel like I more appreciate being in rooms where there are really cliquey people where they're only trying to laugh at their friends' jokes, because I feel like it's a bigger challenge to try to get those people to pay attention to you and to laugh at you too. I feel like the first time I walked in a Chatterbox too, like there was a lot of people who knew each other, a lot of people who were like there to support their friends at the mic and stuff. A lot of women that were there to support their female friends, which I think is really nice. But also like anytime anyone would come on stage, they'd just be like, and like turn around and start talking to each other. And I'm like, I'm gonna make you listen to me, bitch. and then they would laugh. And I'm like, you thought you were here for her. Now you're here for me, which is probably just egotistical. But
talking people like I stole your friend.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she wants to talk to me now? Crazy. No, but even when like you're at a bar and people don't know you, I think that's the thing is like, when you go like to shows and stuff, you do want sometimes like, like friends and family and people there to support you.
Yeah.
But it is a disservice. You need to have absolute strangers judge you, because that's going to be your audience. If you ever try to take this any further, you're going to be in places where no one knows who you are. No one gives a shit about you. And your job is to make them laugh. And if you're not able to do that, then you're not good at it enough. You're not enough at it. You get it.
Mm-hmm. Words.
Yeah.
Is that how it is in psychology?
What do you
Just
mean?
everybody's all clicked up and like, I'm not going to listen to your thesis.
No, but there's a very clear divide between STEM and psychology. Psychology is part of STEM, but STEM does not fuck with psychology.
Because it's not like a physical science?
Yeah, they don't like us.
You're not a woman in STEM?
No, they don't think so. I think so. I think I do an experiment just because you can't understand it, just because you don't have people skills.
Science, trigonometry, ergonomics, mathematics.
Yeah, that's what STEM stands for.
Is it EM or AM? No.
STEM is STEM.
Okay,
Science, technology, right. Engineering, mathematics.
That's what the fuck I said. Is that not what I said?
You said ergonomics. They do what is in their power to keep the oppression in place. I read an article about women in STEM specifically, and I think it was like computer science or something. And the men would get very cliquish and exclusionary towards the women and make them feel like the work environment was incompatible, unsafe, or whatever. And so women would just quit on their own because of the way the environment was set up. So
yeah, that's really interesting. I was just thinking about that, where you were saying that about, we read You Sound Like a White Girl, and I thought it was interesting how like when people work to meet the criteria of a privileged class, that they're not granted the benefits of that privilege. Like she talks about how she was an immigrant, she went to Harvard and like worked at like Goldman Sachs or something, and still she was feeling like othered because she wasn't part of that social class.
Yeah. Any reason to exclude you, they'll take it.
Do you think at some level everyone is privileged in some way?
I think so. And I think people are very privileged in ways they don't consider. We're all young. That's a privilege. We're not older. So that is considered a privilege. Gender obviously is considered. You guys are all men. Being able-bodied is a privilege that people often don't consider, which a lot of people who are able-bodied, they never think about that as a privilege, but it is. So I think that there's a myriad of ways people can have privilege. Whether that changes the outcome of their life or not, I think depends on their other circumstances.
But also, even when you're in a class that's not considered privileged, there are privileges to being underprivileged. Does that make sense?
Yeah, in some ways. And that's what a lot of people try to argue about, why we don't need like DEI and Title IX and stuff like that. That's DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we have like, I come from an academic background, so this is just what it means for like academic institutions. There are people whose sole job is to ensure that everybody, regardless of their background, race, or other identifying factors, is receiving the same benefits as everybody else. So we have that at my school. We have it at the faculty level, and we also have it at the student level. So there's somebody looking out for faculty, and then there's somebody looking out for students. And then like Title IX is something that is a legislation that was passed, I believe in 1972, to ensure that women have equal opportunity with institutionalized sports and graduate level education.
How do you feel about like Ivy Leagues removing themselves from the college ranking system?
I did not know that was a thing that they were thinking about doing. I think that just shows that they're like, oh, we don't need to be on there. Everybody knows who we are. Everybody knows we're good.
Yeah, I think it started with either Princeton or Yale.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they started doing it because, but the thing about the ranking system was that's from a newspaper, like that's from a publication.
Yeah.
That they're the ones that release the rankings.
Yeah.
But the argument for it, and I think it's because DEI and affirmative action, all that stuff is very like, it's a very nuanced thing, because obviously there should be, I mean, I feel like there should be, efforts made towards being more inclusive and to granting people opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be afforded these opportunities. But, figuring out how to do things merit-based. And I think that was the thinking behind removing themselves from the ranking system was more, at least the people that were talking about it, the representatives were saying essentially that removing themselves from the ranking system means that we focus less on numbers, like less on things like GPA and academics, and we start to focus on things like creativity, things like athleticism, and just other areas of being essentially, or of study.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And still feels suspicious to me because they are predominantly white institutions.
Right.
So anytime I've talked to anybody, any person of color who's gone to a PWI, especially an Ivy League, it's like kind of hard to listen to because they're just it's again that othering aspect. You're still at a PWI, you're still being othered.
Powerfully white institution.
Predominantly.
Right.
Powerfully is, it works. We should just start saying more abbreviation, like more.
Just see what
Sylvia comes up with.
I love this.
I say a lot of acronyms, so
Oh yeah, dude.
we'll get like
Ergonomics,
six,
powerfully.
Oh yeah. Synonyms, acronyms. I'm so sorry. Also, let's not interrupt women. Can we? Go ahead. It was me. I did it. I'm just like gaslighting.
Did you just throw your
So-
interruption on me?
Like, was it not him though?
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't care what a representative from Princeton has to say. Yeah, that's a PWI. That's where all the rich white kids go. Like, I don't care that you're trying to foster like more community or arts or whatever. Like, it's for white people, and you know it.
I always thought Princeton has a black school because that's where Uncle Phil went.
What about Princeston, huh? Where are all the bitches?
That's Sylvia walking onto campus day one, sideways hat.
A tiara.
It's still lopsided.
backwards.
Got a fucking lid.
Tiara with a lid.
It's just a hat with a tiara on it. I'm not thinking these things matter.
Looking at your nails, not looking at anybody.
Also, I had painted my nails. Look, okay. They were olive green. But what had happened was...
Yeah, what had happened?
I let a bunch of people write all over my arms the other night in pen. Because I'm a good time.
You never do that?
It's just fun.
What people draw on you, dude?
Yeah, I got all yadded.
Quit being a prude.
But I was like wiping it off with rubbing alcohol when I got home. And then all the ink just went to my finger. And now I look like I'm dying.
A little. They're kind of
like, I already look like... And then now...
they're going to even
more
fall
so. It really does. I look like I'm rotting.
Just your nails.
Yeah. Just saying.
Little girl moment. You wouldn't get it.
All right. I'm holding space for you guys.
Slut.
I did it one time.
Yeah? What color?
It was like a dark blue.
Oh,
Okay.
and then blue of all colors. Am I right? Or... Just microphone.
But at me.
Oh, okay. Academia.
I was talking to somebody about astrology recently, and they're saying that we're in a retrograde right now.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
So Mercury retrograde, I don't know if it started already or if it starts like on the 7th or something. But we're in what's called the retro shade period of, there's like 2 weeks before and after the actual retrograde. Yeah.
The retro shade.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Saturn's just talking
Where
shit.
the planet is just like giving you a little taste, a little hint of like, hey, it's going to be happening soon. You're going to be miserable.
Oh, fuck. No.
But so
Why would
I think
it
there's
do
like
that?
3 retrogrades happening.
Retrograde?
Yeah. Since August 4th, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, Josh.
Thank you for looking that up.
He's not on mic. Mercury retrograde is August 4th to what? August 27th.
Which is tomorrow. The fourth part.
The 4th.
Anyway, what were you saying?
So Mercury retrograde starts tomorrow. We last time I was on, Saturn retrograde happened that day. I remember talking about that. And that's going, I think, until November. The outer planets, they retrograde for longer because they move slower.
Right. Question. Do different retrogrades affect different aspects?
Yes. It's all dependent on what you have where in your chart and where that planet is in the sky right now.
Okay.
Because I was looking at your chart, actually made me think of this.
My BMI.
Body mass index?
I'm not that kind of doctor.
She said, ooh, girl. And let me spill the tea.
Let me tell the audience Sylvia's BMI.
Yeah.
No,
intense.
but you have
bad
Mercury
in cell.
So?
You put that one on yourself. I did not.
Was that about me? I was very
You
general.
brought it up.
Yeah. Like, really, does it keep you honest? Okay. Sorry, keep going. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
You have Saturn in Pisces, which means that your Saturn return is like happening right now.
Bitch better come back.
She
So that
will.
means you're about to pop off.
Is that what the...
No, don't listen
fucking
to
get
him.
it. I'm like, yeah?
No, don't
What does
listen
that
to
mean?
him.
I got so excited.
Saturn is a planet of restriction and discipline and time. Thank God. Oh.
Why?
He thinks you need discipline.
Because your fingers look like they're rotting.
It was in your 6th house of health. That might get that. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't your
to this
6th house of
BMI.
health though.
It would...
That like the house impacts what like area of life the planet is focusing on. So if you had any like health scares or like anything that like all the time.
I'm just scared of my health.
I haven't
Pretty
seen a
valid.
doctor.
Are you one of those people who's like looking things up and being like, oh my God, I have like brain cancer?
I specifically don't look things up. I try to just power through.
Because you'll think you have brain cancer.
Yeah. I'm like, I guess we're shitting weird this week. You know, like, let's just roll with it. I have no insurance. I'm not trying to look it up.
Right. That makes sense. But Saturn, I might be fucking some stuff up for you. It's retrograde right now, so it might be a little bit calm. But I think it's making the final push after this retrograde. It'll move on from Pisces into Aries completely, I think.
Wait.
Don't worry about that part. Don't worry about the last part. Don't worry about the last part. Don't worry about the last part.
Went from BMI to TMI.
Anyways.
Stupid.
I see spine.
Another bit about my health scares. Can we keep it to a minimum? I'm trying to learn about me right now.
Go ahead.
3 planets retrograde right now: Saturn, Mercury, and Pluto. That last one kind of sucks.
Pluto's not a planet anymore.
Sure, yeah.
But what is Pluto in charge of?
Pluto's a generational planet, so it's like in charge of like whole generations of people. I think we all probably have it in the same sign at the very least. But it's like, it's more on a societal level. It'll be impactful rather than a personal level. And
so
it's,
that's why alphas are crazy.
I didn't hear what you said.
I heard Elvis is crazy.
Oh, alphas.
Because you asked that earlier.
Yeah, he was trying to do a
It was a
callback.
callback.
Sorry.
Wrong number.
Gotcha.
Wrong number. So it's like a societal level impact kind of thing. I think sometime around when Pluto went retrograde, Joe Biden dropped out of the race and Trump got shot in the ear. And like all sorts of crazy shit happened in like 2 weeks. So Pluto is making its final push. It's retrograding into Capricorn a little bit, and then it'll be in Aquarius for the rest of our lives after that. Yeah, it takes like 200 years or something to go into the next sign.
Oh, wow.
I immediately thought of
moving.
that song.
What does the rest of my chart say? What does it mean?
Let's pull
Let
it
me
out.
know.
Let's pull it out. I know you're a Libra rising, which is what I told you were last time, right? Okay. So you're
Pissed.
I was like, get your own life. Is that
Josh
So
constantly trying to copy Sylvia.
Girl.
That's why he tried to run her over.
dude? That's what I'm saying. It's like you could have driven slower.
As a favor.
Yeah, but like, he was going like 50. And like,
You gotta make it real.
For what? She doesn't have insurance. It doesn't have to seem
True.
real.
it's true.
That's how you get paid.
I love that they don't
By
have context for any of it.
You just keep the bit going.
You really have no way to defend yourself right now.
Josh is a good person.
Keep it. Keep it in.
You should release it as a clip and then not put it in the episode. You're a Libra rising. Your ruling planet is Venus, which I think tracks. You seem like a very loving person. You guys are both teddy bears. That's the Libra rising. Well, I didn't say it.
That was my rap name in high school.
You didn't have to. I saw it in your eyes, bitch.
Teddy bear.
You're so skinny.
Cute.
Skinny mindset is working, I promise.
Thank you. Oh, if only everyone else felt that way about me. I'm so too egotistical. It's on there.
Yeah, it is. Because you're a Leo.
Right.
So it's on there very, very prominently.
Okay.
And your Venus is also in Leo. So it just fuels the fucking fire.
Okay.
That's the same as you, isn't
It's
it?
the exact same?
I don't actually have that information.
I love that. Yeah.
Alliance.
When's
I
your
have
birthday?
to. Simply.
Thank you. I don't know my birthday either. She just came up with this shit.
Yeah, I
She just
took
picked
her
a day.
palm and then I read the lines and I knew her birthday.
Honestly,
And
she
where
just
she
came
was
up with
born.
a random ass day. I told her my location and everything, but she
I have connects.
Yeah. She read my BMI. I was on there. She saw my medical chart.
I'm your emergency contact.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Do you have any astrology questions that Celeste can answer for you?
About myself or in general?
Yeah. According to your chart. What life
I can
questions
show
do you
it to you, but you're not going to know what any of that
I don't know.
means.
It
Yeah.
looks like math.
It kind of is.
Not for me.
Should you quit your job?
Maths.
Okay.
Okay.
I barely do like it. Should I? Is this shit gonna work out for me?
This comedy shit?
Yeah.
Let's see. What you got? What you got going on?
Did you say I doubt it? Oh yeah. Well,
She hate working out, dude.
I don't work out. I won't do it. I deny.
As a lifestyle choice.
Is this gonna whatever terminology makes us more comfortable?
What the fuck was I gonna say? That's what I wanted to look at.
Wait,
Yeah.
so first, because we're going to start rounding out the episode, if we could do two things, can we do a general read of like Sylvia's chart?
Yeah.
Like, can you read her? And then also answer the question?
Yeah. So I do have an inclination to say that this shit works out because you have Jupiter in the third house, which rules like communication and things like that. If you keep your connections to those close to you like strong and open and honest the way that you typically seem to, I think that in the long run it could work out and you could have a very successful career potentially. Your point, there's another placement called the point of fortune, which is like where your like material success kind of lies, and that's in the 10th house of public persona, and sometimes it's associated with career and stuff like that. But whatever you invest a lot of your time into being like your legacy and stuff, that's where your success for the future will lie. And you should be, don't feel bad if you're making illogical choices. It's in your 10th house is in Cancer, which is a very emotive and intuitive sign. So whatever you feel in your heart is best. That should be what choice you make.
Unless it's palpitation.
What are you talking about?
Still on the fat thing, huh?
Ryan? Always good.
I see why you cry a lot, though. This
says you're a dumb bitch.
This says you're a dumb bitch.
I knew it. I thought women were supposed to support women.
I'm supporting you by being honest. We talked about that.
Right. All right. Fuck. Damn.
You have your moon in the 8th house. The 8th house is very like deep psyche and like impacted very deeply by other people and stuff like that. And it's in Taurus, which is supposed to be like a more like steadfast sign, but when Tauruses are alone, that's when like the emotion comes out. But the 8th house does kind of make a spectacle of things, so just constantly crying makes sense. My best friend has a Taurus moon too, so she's crying all the time too.
I don't know what it mean. What does it mean?
You're dramatic.
Oh. I can see that a little bit.
So the big three signs that you remember when anytime an astrology baddie with a fat ass comes up to you and asks you what your signs are, this is what you have to remember, okay, Sylvia? Leo sun, Taurus moon, Libra rising. They're gonna love you. Say it back.
She's under so much pressure right now. You said soon.
Taurus moon.
There we go. That's one.
I'm really bad at school, you guys. I'm not academia.
That's one. But you got one.
Okay.
There's two more. You should know. You should know what your sun sign is. Come on.
Leo sun.
There we go. That's two. 2/3 of the way there.
Moon rising.
So close. You're so close. No, so
Maybe
close.
Leo DiCaprio
crying.
movie.
I really don't know.
Libra rising.
Hey, what planet is that?
It is too late into the episode to get into it. It is not a planet, though. That's it. It's the rising sign is your first house. It starts off where your birth chart begins. That's what that is. It's just, it can be called the first house, the rising sign, or the ascendant sign.
House of the rising
Say it one
sun.
more time.
Your big three:
Yeah.
Leo sun, Taurus moon, Libra rising.
Leo sun.
Yes,
Taurus moon.
yes.
Libra rising.
There we go.
Got it. Fucking got it.
What's a Libra?
So now, whenever you're trying to scam on some ladies,
Yeah.
The lion.
No, I know
with
what to
stripes.
say. So then what does it...
just don't cry.
Did you already say what I am? Like, what am I? Fucking explain it. Did you already explain it? Are we done?
Sylvia?
But what does it all mean? What does any of this mean? Am I cool or what? Am I...
Yes. It said the astrology baddies are gonna love you.
Oh, because of that?
All because of that. Just because of that.
What are the shitty signs?
People will say the shitty signs are like Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
If a man has any Cancer in his chart, everybody's like, ugh.
Particular cancer.
His medical chart. He's dead.
You can pull from the camera.
He said my grandpa had cancer.
And then I left.
God. This is great.
Sylvia, do you have a hypothetical question for Celeste? A thought experiment?
Oh my God,
A
I
thought
love
experiment.
these.
Okay. Should it be related to something or just anything?
Whatever you come up with.
Okay.
It could be related to, I mean, that would be nice. That's how you do a show, but
It's just like, would you rather fight 25
25
kangaroo
Leos.
sized-
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
Or one child. What would be if you could pick
Okay.
your big three to be like the perfect version of you and then the perfect version of your mate, like of whoever you end up dating? What would you want those three to look like? Also, what are your three?
So I think my big three, as they are perfect already.
She's a Leo too, huh?
No. You wish.
You wish. I don't know what any of this means.
That's okay. Pretty girls will explain it to you for the rest of your life.
I love how you keep calling me ugly. Low-key. That's just a subtle flex.
Thought we're playing into a bit.
No, that's okay. We'll fuck later. We don't have to talk about it. See, this is the privilege I have. Mhm. I can just
People
say
let their
shit like
guard down.
that.
I find that funny. So my big three, I'm a Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising.
Okay.
I'm just simply the most mysterious and esoteric bitch you'll ever meet.
Esoteric. What does esoteric? No, keep going.
My mate, I definitely you know what? I can't even say like, I attract a Leo rising.
Is that what I am?
No.
Well, it's working for me too.
I didn't want you to get it wrong again. We did all that work.
Right. No, I got it.
Say it again.
Okay.
No, no. Sylvia.
I got it. Keep going.
I think I like a Leo rising. I think I like earth or fire moons. So actually, I don't want to make it that general. That actually seems like it would suck. A Taurus moon would be cool. I have several people in my yeah, we're gonna fuck later. I have several people in my life who are Sagittarius moons that I really love their company, and I feel like they get me. I could be down with an Aries moon too. As for sun signs, listen, I know I said that everybody hates Gemini, but Scorpio is also one of the hated bitches, and I love a Gemini. I love a Gemini. I do love Gemini. I think they're fun. They're intellectual and curious, and I really like that in a partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that answer. Now let's get to the question. The real question here.
Okay.
All right. How has your relationship with
She answered it in the
I
comments.
answered it in the comments. Yeah.
I think you did. I think I saw that. Sorry. I have another question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second.
Real quick, what are your big three?
Diabetes.
What?
What did you say?
I was gonna say Wendy's.
Wendy's doesn't even compare. Let's not. Their nuggets are okay. Leo,
Uh-huh.
Taurus,
Yes.
Libra.
Yes.
Okay.
Good job.
What are the houses?
Let's not overcomplicate
If she says it in that order, everyone will know.
Yeah. No, I know. I was just trying to.
Yeah. Chill.
Let's make it simple for her.
Okay, question.
All right.
No, you.
Who's on first? Am I right?
Chaos.
Leo.
Stop. You're confusing her. Stop tapping the glass, Dominic.
I really do feel like a fish that's just like all boggled out, you know? Any of the questions I sent you?
Would you rather
Do you have your
fight
phone? Do you have the questions up?
a giraffe-sized gorilla or a gorilla-sized giraffe?
I'm scared. There was communication about this prior.
Oh. The Harry Potter one is good too.
Do it. That's the one.
That's the one.
I think I kind of asked the last one, but I think the first one is probably the best one. Yeah.
Okay, clean take.
Yeah, clean take. So the question is, have you read the charts of people in your family, like your
Yes.
parents and stuff?
Yes.
Have you ever used their charts to justify their behaviors or the way that they've like treated others? Either justify or judge their behaviors in the way they've treated you or other people.
I think I also do this with psychology. Like, yes, but I also do it with my psychological background in mind as well. And my parents' like history. So like I don't have my dad's like anything. I've kind of like looked at it based on the day and year. But I haven't been able to like do an in-depth reading of his chart. That guy can fuck off for all I care. But my mom, I think I do try to like, if not justify it, try to just like be like, oh, it was like written in the stars that she was gonna act that way towards me, or be this way in her personhood. It was like written in the stars. I couldn't control that. That's like her life. If she wanted to change that, that was up to her. And like this, it gives me a small sense of like solace and comfort to know that like I didn't have any power in that situation. I have a control issue. So I like to try to control people. I play The Sims a lot. I make people I know in real life in The Sims so I can control them.
Wow.
So like knowing, just having the knowledge of like, okay, like stars said it was to be so who am I to try to explain it away as like as a okay thing.
Yeah.
I don't like to justify in the sense of it's okay that she did that, but rather like she was going to do that anyways, so it doesn't mean anything about me or my value or anything like that.
Are you gonna make a Sims of Sylvia now?
No, but I love the. Oh, well, maybe you will.
You might.
No, let's fucking kick it, dude. Our Sims are just like fucking
Constantly, 24/7.
Damn, I get tired easy. No, but I like the idea of being able to make Sims of people you know, so that you can control their lives.
I just get it out, you know.
Hell yeah, I'd make them of all of you guys and just have them be nice to my Sim.
We are nice to you.
You download a mod to make Josh run you over for real.
No, make him not run me over. No, but that's cool. Also, do you believe in numerology?
Yes.
So the whole thing about what life you're on.
Mm-hmm. The life path number.
Yeah. Do you think when you come back, right, in another life, do you think that's like in a like a reincarnation thing, like in a different form, or do you always come back as human?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. I think that whatever, like, if you were to come back, I think it's all choice in whatever beyond there is. Your soul chooses, like, if you come back, what you come back as, what your chart is, what life path number you're on. And I think it's all lessons for your soul to learn about life. The universe experiencing itself is kind of my thing.
You think I chose to be this way?
I think some part of you did.
Fucking idiot.
That's how a lot of people feel when they're on Earth.
So if you die.
If, when?
If.
Oh.
Yeah. If you die and you could be reincarnated, what would you want to come back as?
I mean, being a human is pretty cool. I like playing The Sims. But I think it'd be cool to come back as a fish. I don't have a specific kind of fish, but I really love the ocean. I love the water. And I think it'd be cool to experience it as a fish. Maybe like one of the fish that live in a coral reef. I think that'd be dope.
You probably wouldn't get to choose a location. It's like the ocean is like dying, I've heard. I want to ask like a really good general question. I feel like these are...
Yeah.
Okay.
What he said.
Do you have another question?
Yeah. Do you have siblings?
I do. I'm the oldest of many.
So you have boys siblings and girl siblings?
Yes.
What's the difference in your relationship with boy siblings and girl siblings?
So my girl siblings are both 18 years younger than me, so I don't have a relationship with them. And my brothers, I raised them, so it's kind of very like I'm kind of mom, and they're mi hijos.
Do you think that's affected the way you feel about other women in your life?
I think it's mostly just affected my relationship with my mom. But my relationship with other women in my life is really strong. I have a very strong relationship with my grandma and my tias and my very close friends. I think all of those relationships are really strong.
But do you think that has something to do with how old their age, like them being older or of your age? Do you think like younger women, does it not intimidate you, but like, do you think it's a little more strained to connect with younger women?
Sometimes. I think sometimes younger women very much look up to me as a kind of tends to be a more maternal figure. So like I live in dorms back in Vegas, and all of my roommates are younger than me. And so at first it was a little bit of a struggle, and I was like, it's funny because to them they don't see it, like they're like 19, 20, and I was like 24, 23 when we moved in. So like they didn't see like a significant age gap, but to me being the older one, it was like very apparent. Like they were still in the middle of high school when I was like graduating with my associate's degree. So it was a strain at first. But I think in general, I just try to be really open, especially to women. because I don't think that there's a lot of, I mean, this is the impression that I get from people that I talk to and like seeing people talk online of like, there seems to be a lot of gaps in relationships women have with other women. And I don't think it needs to be that way. I think there's a lot of competition for some reason. And so when I'm around younger women, they don't see me as competition. They see me as more like a protector of like, if we go out, no man is going to be messing with them. I don't know if you guys have seen this trend on TikTok. It's like my favorite animal is me when, or like my mom when. There's a lot of them where it's like my favorite animal is me when a guy put his hands on my best friend or something. That is literally me. That is literally an experience that I had. Laid a dude out. I don't play. But yeah, so in general, I think there is some strain, but I think it's easily overcome.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Astrovic.
Yes.
You started releasing new episodes?
Yes, new episodes have been releasing monthly all summer. The next one I think comes out August 16th.
And it's still part of your Avatar series?
Stranger Things. Stranger Things, and then we're going into the Hunger Games next.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, I'll get home and start recording those episodes, so that'll be fun.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for being here again, Celeste. This was so much fun. I'm glad you got to meet Sylvia and you guys got to have your girly moments.
Yeah, we're gonna need to be alone for a bit.
I need you guys to vacate.
Yeah, black out those.
Last question for the audience.
If you've made it this far, what would you want to be reincarnated as? Don't say me. You'll never be me.
From us, said un poquito.
Don't fly.